as always, Matthew Lyle, joined by Buck Nasty. How you doing today, Mr. Buck?
I'm doing great, man. It was a cold day at football practice, but finally getting warmed up. I got a little bit of hot chocolate in my body, and I love this time of year, man. Love it.
Okay, let's let the fans know a little bit about Mr. Buckheister himself. You're a high school football coach. If you want to for sake of anonymity, to keep it anonymous, we will keep, unless you want to let them know where you coach, you can. But let's take us into the mind of a high school coach.
Well, a mind of a high school coach right now this is the last game of the regular season. So football in Indiana, regular season doesn't mean anything.
Because everybody makes the playoffs, right?
Everybody makes the playoffs. They call them the sectionals. And our sectional starts November 1st. So we are simply going into this week's game to kind of pad stats. You can say we are 6-2 on the season. We are playing a team that this team doesn't mean anything to us whatsoever. So we're just, as a high school team, we are not trying to show our cards because we've already played our sectional opponent once this season. So we're going to kind of throw some new defenses out there, just a tad bit, just basically give them something to worry about more than what they already are trying to expect from us.
So let me ask you this. To help set the scene for listeners out there, your high school, you don't have to say this, but I think secretly we would all agree, your high school isn't really competing for a state championship. Your high school is more competing for the level right below. Like if you won your section or whatever, that would be the cat's meow for you, correct?
Right. So the ultimate goal for our team this year is to make it to a regional game because us as a coaching staff knows we're not going to pass New Pal in that regional championship game. They're better than we are.
So is your goal as a coach, because you mentioned pad stats, you mentioned get wacky on the film, or is it a more realistic goal that you guys just don't get injured?
This season has been tough for us because we've had 11 starters go down so far this season, from collarbones to turf toe to
the good old turf toe.
I got diarrhea. I mean, it's just,
oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, just like we've had 11 to 12 starters go down this season. And so basically we're thin at everywhere on the roster. And it's just a matter of trying to get out healthy so we have a week to prepare and like stay healthy, because we do have that bye week coming up next week. So that's definitely helpful.
Fair enough. For anybody who just stumbled upon this and said, what are these two doofuses talking about? You have joined the Matthew Lyle show. There is no rhyme or reason. If you're an older crowd, you watch the Seinfeld show. It essentially was a show without purpose. This too is a show without purpose. This show is just where I say, hey, for the next 30 minutes to an hour to 2 hours, depending on the day, the season, the time of the week, we're just going to ramble about whatever's on my mind. Typically, it is sports related. So if you're a sports fan, pull up a chair, hang out, talk a little bit. We could bounce anywhere else. So if you stumbled upon there at the end, we were talking about some Indiana high school football. And by some, I mean one particular school that Mr. Buckheister himself is a coaching or a part of the coaching staff. So one thing I wanted to do, maybe we'll get a new audience, or maybe somebody will scoop by and listen to this. And that's kind of what I just said is kind of what this show is and will be. It's just going to be us rambling. If you want us to talk about something in particular, you can always feel free to reach out to the show. But if I don't care about it, then it's not going to be discussed, because let's be honest, do you want to hear somebody talk about something they truly don't care about?
Right.
There's an old joke that I always heard that escalators don't break, they just become stairs. And that's how I feel about this show. Like, this show will not fail. This show is either going to be wildly popular in some time, or it's just going to be two dudes talking. It's going to be like talking to a friend, and you can just listen. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, this show, I'm not guaranteeing this show will be great. I'm not guaranteeing this show will ever be anything more than just 10 to 15 listeners, but it won't fail. Right? Like, it's just going to be us talking about shit we like to talk about. And in my mind, that can't fail.
Right. I'm on board with you, man.
All right, so last night we talked really about gambling in sports. We talked a little bit about the California pay for play. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed in 24 hours. We dabbled a little bit in Kentucky basketball, and we stuck our toes in to the college football game. And I think we began to toy around with some NFL. But I wanted to get back to the NFL here because that's the primary season. That's where we're all at. One thing that bride and brother, that's exactly what this is. This is from bride and brother. But before we came on last night, and we just didn't really wiggle it in there anywhere, Jalen Ramsey traded to the Rams.
Yep.
Now, I don't think this necessarily does anything but makes them look better on paper. Because if you've watched the Rams, I've not really watched the Rams, and the first thing I said, now, if you wanted me to list problems with the Rams, we could probably get to that secondary.
Oh, easily.
But that's not going to solve whatever's going on with Jared Goff. That's not going to solve these offensive woes that struck them, who was it, last week against the 49ers. So It's a big trade. It's a sexy trade. It's a trade that Jacksonville will inevitably screw up. They got 2 first-round picks, and it'll be nothing. So, but I'm not sure how much it will truly resolve whatever the Rams got going on now. The only thing it really gives me hope for is that we're going to see some sexier trades. I would love to see O.J. Howard go to New England or Houston. It doesn't have to be the Patriots. I just want to see big guy. I love seeing big name transactions. So if we can get some big names flopping around, because that's what the NBA does great, or they used to before teams before players said, "Hey, I'll play with you." They used to just trade for one another. You had the Steve Francis and Tracy McGrady trade. It was big name for big name. Grant Hill was involved in one a couple, probably 20 years ago now. But I like that in the NFL. And I'm hoping we get to see this in the NFL. I think we saw a little bit last year. So I'm looking for O.J. Howard to go somewhere. I would love for him to go somewhere just to kind of shake up. If you think any bad team, I don't know A.J. Green's health, so I don't know how easy that will be to ship off. I'd love to see him go somewhere. I'm going to throw you a bone, Mike, because I like Patrick Mahomes. I like high-powered offenses. I would love to see somebody like an A.J. Green go to Kansas City. Yeah, I would love to see an Odell Beckham. I don't think they're going to move Odell Beckham. They just gave a lot for him, and they're still trying to figure that ship out.
Right.
But I would love to see somebody else for Patrick Mahomes to throw to. Sammy Watkins is nice and all, but if there's an opportunity for better, take advantage of it.
Well, is it? Like the Kansas City Chiefs did well in the draft. They signed that rookie, what's his name, Hartman. He is going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Gonna be, but I need now. I want now.
Well, you still have Kelvin Benjamin on the team. You have
trash. He looks like a tight end fullback.
But yeah, I mean, he is definitely not at his peak by like any means, but he is still a receiver out there that you have to respect. So therefore, you can't double team Tyreek Hill every play. You can't double team Sammy Watkins every play. You also have a wide receiver from my Kansas State team, Byron Pringle. He has
been doing some things.
He is going to do a splash. You give him another year in that Kansas City offense, or maybe even just another 3 or 4 games. He is going to find his groove. He is going to find where he's needed. So a team like the Kansas City Chiefs doesn't need a wide receiver. If you are looking for a team that truly needs a wide receiver, look no further than the Detroit Lions. They have a solid running
See, I don't
game.
want this. I don't want good players going from bad team to bad team or bad team to bad team.
Are you saying the Detroit Lions are a bad team now?
They're not going to make the playoffs. Now, they've been a bad team for 1,000 years. They're not making the playoffs. We can go through that. They are not making the playoffs.
I said they were horrible to start the season. I was at the Detroit camp.
I didn't say it was horrible. I just said they was a bad team. They're mediocre.
They are a wild card team, man.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, you got to look, that division, they're not going to win their division. That's Green Bay.
Yeah, and then, I agree with that.
Let's do this then. Let's have some way too early. It's not way too early. We're halfway through the season almost. Let's look into what this playoff picture could look like. So we'll start with NFC. Where's that? I think the NFC North, that's Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is back, healthy, got him a defense. That's them.
Correct. I agree with that 100%.
NFC East, as much as I hate Dallas and as much as I enjoy seeing them just look like straight ass the last 3 weeks, I think there's weapons. I think they get that together. I think Zeke gets back into playing shape. I don't care what happened at Cabo. You're not, or I guess that's where he was. You're not getting tackled by NFL stars. It takes a while to get back into the groove. Right. I think that groove comes. I think Dallas wins that.
As I concur with that statement, I think the winner of this week's Cowboys-Eagle games wins the division.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, this is only the first time they played, so they still have another time. I mean, there's still some time left.
You are right, but I still think it is a momentum factor
in the South. So pocket that thought though. So in the South, you have. In the NFC South, I think you have the Saints. I mean, it's just looking like they lost Drew Brees, and they're undefeated. And I think you go back to Drew Brees.
3 weeks or whatever.
You go back to Drew Brees. Drew Brees is one of the few that you don't let Teddy take that mantle from you, because Teddy's no young spring chicken himself.
Right.
Like Teddy's got some injuries. He's got some miles on. He's got some tread worn on that tire. You don't quite bench that for that.
You're right.
So then you go out west. That's the West is essentially your division winner and your 2 wild card, because you got the Rams. The Rams, I think the Rams are much better than the Lions. You got the Seahawks, who I think have 1 loss, maybe 2, and you got the undefeated 49ers. Now, even if you don't believe in the undefeated 49ers, they're what, 5-0?
Right. That's 6-0, right?
So let's say 6-0. I have to double check. Let's say 6-0. That means in the next 10 games, they only got to go really 4-6. So I think the Lions, as much as I like Stafford, Pat Stafford, or what they call him Pat Stafford.
Something
as
like
much
that.
As I like him, as much as I like Megatron was there, as much as I like the Lions, I don't think they're a playoff team, because to your other point, let's say the Eagles win this game. Or even the Eagles lose. I think the Eagles have a better chance, or the Cowboys have a better chance than the Lions to make the playoffs, which I don't even think will be a thing, because I think every team but the Cardinals in the NFC West will make it. And that's not counting what Carolina's done.
Right.
Carolina, there's just a lot of people that I think, and whatever the Lions are doing, until I see it hold up. Now, I'm not here saying they're horrible. I'm not saying that they're god-awful. I think in many other years, they could have been a playoff contender. There's just too much building around this wild card spot, and it mostly resides out west.
Yeah. So let me break it down for you just a tad bit here. Looking at the schedules moving forward. First of all, let's look at the Detroit Lions. They are right now. They are 2-2 and and 1, which basically counts as a loss. So they are 2-3 more or less. Okay. Moving forward, look at the games. They play the Vikings this week at home. That's going to be a very intriguing game.
That's very intriguing, but it could be a loss.
Yes, it could be a loss.
Kirk Cousins playing like he has been. That's a loss to me.
Right, but it is tough playing in Detroit. Just ask the Kansas City Chiefs. But then looking forward, you got the Giants. That's going to be a win.
No, I do not. Do not count Daniel Jones out of this.
Okay.
Daniel Jones has that team being completely different. Now, I'm not predicting a win on that. I'm just saying, okay, so give me the next 2 games. So you give me 2, give me the next 2 games.
Okay, so then they travel to Oakland, a tough game, and like travel to the Bears. I think they'll lose to the Bears.
They're going 2-2 in that.
Yeah,
they're going 2-2 in that run.
Okay, I concur with that. Now moving forward, then they play the Cowboys. Well, let's just say the Cowboys lose this week. I mean, this could be a head-to-head wild card game here. If the Detroit Lions win this game, that could bump them into the wild card.
But I'm telling you, I'm not even competing them with Dallas, because I think if you're not in the NFC West, if you don't live in the Pacific time zone, you don't even worry about the wild card, because your only shot is winning the division. Because unless you think, or anybody thinks, that one of those 3 teams are going to go on an epic level meltdown. Now, you might consider the Rams on an epic level meltdown, because they went and made the Super Bowl last year, and now they're struggling. That's fine if that's what you think, but I still think they have enough weapons that they're going to get together, go on a playoff run. I can't count Russell Wilson out. if you don't believe in the 49ers, that's about the only real estate you can sell me that I'll buy. But they're 6-0, 5-0 already.
Right.
That's going to take not just a meltdown, like meltdown that we make fun of. It's going to take a collapse that we make fun of. So I don't even think if Dallas loses this game, and if this game against Philadelphia is as important as you say, to me it doesn't even matter what their record is against Detroit, because they're just beating each other up and taking each other out.
Okay. Yeah, like I hear everything that you're saying. So let's look at the Detroit Lions schedule. Still here. They play the Bears twice. Still, they play the Vikings twice, and they have the Packers the last game of the season.
Okay, so I'm going 2 and 3 in that.
Well, let's say for some crazy deal here, they sweep the Bears, they sweep the Vikings, and it comes down to a head-to-head game versus the Packers week 17, and they're at home. I would have to give the nod to the Detroit Lions to win that division. Now, I'm not predicting that they win the division, but it is going to come down to the wire 100%. Like those Lions, they are a big play receiver away. I don't know if that's AJ Green. I don't know if that is Odell Beckham Jr. It might even be Antonio Brown, because I believe he can sign with the team this week as well.
Well, I think Antonio Brown's done. I think once Bill cuts you, once Bill Belichick says you're too much for me, I think that kills any shot at you. And okay, so we got a little off track there from my original point. That's fine. If you think they're a playoff team, I don't. But I don't like seeing, because typically when you see a player go from a bad team to a mediocre tier team, a wild card level team, they end up having to give something to take a step back somewhere else. Now, ideally, it would be you're taking a step back somewhere you can afford to take a step back. So what would they have to give up for AJ Green? And that would always be the concern. I want to see the deals that are next level. Like, example, OJ Howard. He's next level player. Could you imagine him on New England? Could you imagine him with the Texans, who already have Hopkins, Fuller, Kenny Stills, Deshaun Watson, an offense that you already have? Now, do they need that? Is the tight end the number one need? Probably not. But that's what I want to see. And that's why I said I wanted to see AJ Green to the Chiefs, because the Chiefs are already loaded on offense.
Yeah.
I just think the way Patrick Mahomes spins it around when he's healthy, I know that there's some concerns about that now, but the way he just rips it all over the field, I want to see more to that. I wanted, if Antonio Brown hadn't screwed up his chance with the Patriots, if he hadn't signed with the Patriots to begin with, there was a part of me that was wanting him to sign with the Chiefs, because could you imagine?
Yeah.
What defensive coordinator is going to match up and stop Tyreek Hill, who at the time we didn't know he was going to, I believe he hurt his shoulder.
Yeah.
We didn't know that was going to be a thing. We didn't know that was going to be the problem. But could you imagine who's going to stop that?
Yeah. So if you were looking for that type of trade, what about the cornerback for the Arizona Cardinals, Patrick Peterson? He has been rumored to be traded last year, this off season, and now he's in the final year of his contract. He is arguably one of the top 4 cornerbacks in the league.
Well, if we're 10, I mean, so defense is weird, because defense. Like, for example, the team I would love to see him go to, and this isn't going to happen, but the team I would just, we're talking about the rich getting richer, would be obviously New England's. Bill Belichick's not going to, he loves what his defense is doing this year. It's absurd. He's not going to risk that.
Don't
he's
add
not
any
gonna mess
pieces.
He's not going to mess, because you put him out there, you have to have him catch up. Another dynamic defense that would be fun to have a guy like Patrick Peterson would be the Chicago Bears. But the Chicago Bears have so many concerns on offense that I think fans would get flustered. Even though you're getting a great playmaker, you're like, I still got Chase Daniels. I still got Mitch Trubisky.
Right.
I still don't have this on offense. You're still struggling to put up points. And so I don't know. Defense is a little different. And maybe because, they have the stay-in, offense sells tickets, defense wins championships. People don't get as hyped. Like even the trade with Jalen Ramsey, one of the best cornerbacks in the league, if that was a number one receiver, this would be even better of a conversation. If that was Tyreek Hill that was traded, if that was Odell Beckham that was traded, if that was the Anthony Hopkins that was trading, this would be the sexiest trade ever. Like this is Hustler magazine.
You're 100% correct. 100% correct, man.
I just think because offense guys can come in and make such an impact, and I'm not saying Jalen Ramsey can't, but he's going to have to earn that impact, right? And then when and you can also take it out. Like you can also say, hey, they got Jalen Ramsey over there. I'm not going to throw it that direction.
Right.
I'm not going to do that. And I mean, Jalen Ramsey is still going to do what Jalen Ramsey does, but it's not like you get New England often is a part of a joke where they have all these fantasy players and they'll be giving the ball to Rex Burkhead. It was pretty awesome seeing Tom Brady deliberately try to force feed Antonio Brown.
Yeah, it was
that was something fun to watch. So just imagine Patrick Mahomes getting a guy like an AJ Green, getting a guy like that who is fast, and Patrick Mahomes can just sit back there and say, "Hey, bro, get this," and he's just going to go up there and get it. Like I said, I don't even know how healthy he is. The Bengals are borderline obsolete. Who's the worst team in the league this year? Who's the team that? And I'm not going to say so. I want to take out this year. I want to take that out. Who is the crappiest organization right now? Because it's easy to say
be Cincinnati.
Right. It's easy to say the Dolphins, but the Dolphins literally have nothing. And when you have nothing, I look at it like this, Mike. If me and you were quote unquote teams, but by teams were people who live in houses, right? Like me and you are neighbors. If I'm the Dolphins, that basically means my house has nothing in it. I'm sitting on a couple of milk crates. I'm watching an old-time TV. I don't have cable. I barely have electricity. I got a little water. Like my fridge has like the baking soda box. Like that is me.
So if you burn down the house, you get that insurance claim.
If I wake up in the middle of the night and I say, I'm out of here, I don't have nothing to lose.
Right.
You're the guy who has a house full of junk as the Cincinnati Bengals that all means something to you, but is worthless. Yeah. So when you go to leave, you're kind of screwed. Let me tell you who's really bad off. And I don't think people know this quite yet, but if they don't do something, they are in a world of hurt. It is a team. I would rather be, what's that? It's better to have bad credit than no credit. Well, let me tell you who has no credit right now. The Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans are in football purgatory. They're not good enough to even compete for a Super Bowl, to even be mentioned. They're not bad enough to go number one overall. They're not bad enough to tank for Tua or flop for Fromm or whatever lose for Lawrence. They're not bad enough to do that.
Right.
They're not good. And they don't have anybody to trade. Who on that roster do you want?
The only thing I could think of is Ryan Tannehill as a solid backup to an already established team, i.e. the Philadelphia Eagles, the Dallas Cowboys.
True, but they got him for a 6th round. Yeah. Even if they spun that into gold, Mike, they're going to get a 4th out of that. If that 4th round doesn't necessarily, when you start getting into the 3rd, 4th, and later rounds, it doesn't matter where you pick, it's what you do with it. I'm not too confident they're going to do anything spectacular with it. That's a team that has a whole lot of baggage and nowhere to dump it. Mike, they have a garage full of oil cans. They just can't take that to the dumpster.
Yeah.
They're going to have to do something special, and I don't know what it is. They have the most boring offense. They have a defense that is okay, but it doesn't matter if you can't score. They have no weapons to trade. I guess you could trade Kevin Byard if you would like, but you just paid the man a lot of money.
Right.
And even then, what's he going to – I mean, Minkah Fitzpatrick went for a 1st round, and I don't know if Byard's going to get that same thing, if you even wanted to get rid of him. So I think right now the Bengals are the trash of the trash. But guess who lives in the house that is slowly, and by slowly I mean pretty fast, losing value? The old Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, I mean, like, like as a Tennessee Titan fans, we know a Tennessee Titan fan. He is a diehard Tennessee Titans fan. If I'm not mistaken, like if you trade off all your assets like the Miami Dolphins did with Kenny Stills and their tailback, his name's slipping my mind right now, and Ryan Tannehill. If you trade Marcus Mariota and Ryan Tannehill and Henry,
nothing.
Yeah.
You're going to have a whole bunch of 6th-round picks.
Yeah, you're going to have a whole bunch of 6th-round picks with no other players to fill those roles. So, I mean, like they need to just go in there and blow something up. Like I don't know if it's a culture change, if it's just a head coaching change. Is it a quarterback change? Like, what are your thoughts? Like, is it just a quarterback change?
No, because you don't have the quarterback to change with it. There's nothing you can do. You have Mariota. You're not getting anybody else. You're really just going to have to clean house because.
So, are you saying maybe a big name receiver can come in there to spice up the offense a little bit?
They can't because the whole thing is just boring, dude.
Yeah.
The whole thing is just like. It's yellow. It's just blank. It's nothing, in my opinion. And maybe it starts with the owner. Maybe it just starts with that field doesn't always look the best. It kind of reminds me a lot of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It caught on fire.
Look, I don't want to hear nothing about Heinz Field and its greatness. Like that is just not a good field to play on. It just doesn't look good. The uniforms are boring. Their offense is boring. Their players are boring. They don't have anything. So instead, they're just in purgatory. And Mike, I don't know what you do because really what you need to do is you just need to get somebody in there and luck out and somehow draft a Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
Somehow draft an Alvin Kamara. Somehow get you the next Russell Wilson. But I think you're going to have to do something too. This is an offensive league. The times the rules are changing, the coordinators. I mean, if you high-fived a dude who cleaned I brought a blank on the name, the dude out at the Rams, the coach, Sean McVay. If you high-five Sean McVay's pool boy, you're getting a job. And they keep going after defensive-minded guys. That's fine and all, but the defense can't even develop because they're out there getting shredded because the offense can't do anything.
Well, when you say they're getting shredded, they are only giving up, 15, 16 points a game. But if your offense is only going to score 7, like you aren't going to win a lot of games. So like,
as a whole, like the defense just doesn't get to make plays. I mean, because as soon as they make a play, they're not even done celebrating, and they got to be right back on the field.
Right. So like I gotta watch a lot of Tennessee Titan games because I don't get them like up at the house, and I'm not going to go out of my way to watch a Tennessee Titan game by any means. But I wonder what happened from week 1 when they destroyed the Browns, where they scored like 48 points in that game, and now they're averaging 7. Like what happened from week 1 to week 6?
The offense did enough to allow the defense to make some plays and rest up, but since then. They looked lackluster versus the Colts. They looked horrible versus the Jaguars. They looked decent versus the Falcons, which the Falcons have looked like straight trash.
Right.
They didn't even show up versus the Bills.
That's another franchise that's falling apart from the inside is the Atlanta Falcons.
But that's the thing. The Falcons have valuable pieces. If at any moment
Julio Jones,
Jones you could probably get 2 firsts for Julio Jones.
You think 2 first rounds?
Absolutely. I mean, the man's a monster. Somebody would overpay him. Sunkist, drinking them all. Not sponsored. We're not sponsored by anybody. We need to be. Continue. Oh, I was talking.
Isn't AJ Green 30 years old though? I mean, I feel like he's been in the league for a long time.
I think they're probably 28, 29. But I mean, big receivers can do that. They don't take. I mean, I don't know if Julio Jones has ever taken a hit to the head. I mean, the dude's 6 foot, 4 or 5?
Yeah.
Not a lot of DBs out there targeting that head.
Yeah, so he is 30 years old. Like, he's been in the league for 9 years. So, I mean, like, at some point, this kind of goes back to the thing that we said a while back, maybe even a year ago, is like when you sign a quarterback to $100 million contract and he's taking up 20% of the salary cap, you are going to be trash. I.e. Detroit Lions.
Your best bet is to try to find a nerd somewhere who can find out. I made a list about a year ago about of a football team with everybody drafted in the 5th, 6th, and 7th round. That's not a bad team. That's a lot. It's a better team than most that we've talked about this evening. So what I'm saying is, if you want to be good, what you need to do is you need to pay one guy at each level. You need to find a couple of linemen. You need to find a couple of young linemen, mix them up with a couple of old linemen.
Right.
You need to. I don't think you need to spend a lot of money on running backs, and I don't really think you need to spend a lot of money on receivers, because today's NFL with these rules, you're going to be fine. Like, they're going to have like wide open receivers. There's guys you ain't even heard of just wanting wide open down the field because they can't be jammed. You need to be able to, like I said, you need to be able to protect the quarterback. You need to be able to get to the quarterback. So you need to pay you a pass rusher, get you a couple, get you on the defensive line, get you a pass rusher the best you can, get you a veteran on that D line who's smart, and get you a young athletic guy who's going to take advantage when you're like, oh, we're going to leave this guy open while we double team the good guy. You get you a legit linebacker and get you a legit DB. It don't have to be elite. I'm not saying you're probably going to think I'm mad. Well, if you can get elite at every, no, get legit, because what this ends up doing is you can always afford to keep on rolling. I mean, you would have had to have been pretty darn perfect at being a GM. And I don't want to hear that, oh, these guys aren't the greatest. If you hate these two quarterbacks, I don't really care. I don't want to hear about it. But in theory, you could have drafted Russell Wilson in the 3rd round or wherever they got him, had him hella cheap, and before it became time to pay him, could have drafted Dak Prescott.
Right.
And
so that's actually what –
I'm not saying Dak Prescott's better than Russell Wilson. I don't think he is at all. But if you have a epic level Chicago Bear style defense with a great offensive line and a strong run game behind a committee running back, you're able to bounce from Russell Wilson to a guy like Dak Prescott to a guy like whoever the next version of that is. You know what I'm saying, Mike? Because there's always going to be something. You just have to be able to find it.
Right. So that's actually kind of what Cody said here in the comments section here is your best bet is to win as much as possible with a quarterback on his rookie contract. Kind of what the Kansas City Chiefs are doing right now.
Your best bet is to win everything you can and play good enough. Because you're really, to be honest with you, you're really just going to have to stop caring about what your fans think. And I know that's a horrible thing to say because we're all fans, but you're going to have to be not afraid to ship that out. Yeah. Like the Cowboys, and I know they're not Super Bowl contenders, but if they was like, you know what, Zeke, you're gone. You know what, Dak, you're gone. And you turn around and you keep putting money into that offensive line. You keep turning money into pass rushers. You keep getting – you got 2 monster linebackers who might have – I hate the Cowboys with a passion, but they got the 2 coolest names. I think it's like a Wolf Hunter and the Predator. Like, that is just badass to the nth degree. But if you're the Cowboys – and I actually get the Amari Cooper thing because you gave a first round for Amari Cooper. You don't want that to be a rent-a-deal.
Right. But
you say, sorry, Zeke, I'm going to dump you off somewhere. You get a couple things off of it because Jerry Jones spoke very highly about the backup they have. You say, sorry, Dak, if you don't want to sign for this Tom Brady-like deal, we're going to dump you, and we're going to go try to find the next Gardner Minshew. Yeah. Because if you – in today's NFL, where receivers are running, where if you sneeze on the quarterback, you're getting 15 yards. If you can protect him, if you can – we talked about this last night, Mike. The only time now that it's legal to hit a quarterback, and barely at that, is when the quarterback still has the ball. If you can protect him long enough to allow him to get rid of the ball, I think in today's NFL, unless he is just next level god-awful, you're going to get you enough.
Yeah.
Because
I see what you're saying, and like I totally concur with that 100%. And just speaking on the quarterback situation there, like even if you tackle a guy and if you happen to land on top of him, you don't perfectly put him on a pillow and put him to sleep. That's a 15-yard penalty too. So
it is, yeah.
So I see what people are saying, kind of just ship the guy out if he doesn't want to, sign for this deal, yada yada yada. But at the same time, like if you take care of your guy, you have him for 15 years, 16 years.
If you take out Tom Brady, and Tom Brady's a special case because he's playing longer than he should be.
He's kind of a freak of nature, to be honest.
Well, some don't, and some don't even consider him elite anymore. So I'll take him out, and he takes a pay cut. But when's the last time a highly paid star level quarterback in their star levelness, I'm not going to say prime, but in their star levelness, won the Super Bowl? Because let's bounce back a little bit. You have the Patriots, we're taking them out.
Right.
You have the Eagles.
Even then, when the Super Bowl or when the Patriots win the Super Bowl, Tom Brady is only making like $10 or $11 million a year. So
that's why I said we're taking him out because he's taking that pay cut. But you look, Nick Foles, he wasn't the guy. You could say Russell Wilson now, but he wasn't Russell Wilson when he won it.
Okay, so
you could say Peyton Manning.
Even then, did he sign a big deal?
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm talking about the last guy that I can think of that is an elite level quarterback who was at elite status, who was making a boatload of money, is Drew Brees.
Yeah, you're right.
And so, I mean, you're done if you pay them because the salary cap is just too heavy.
Yeah, so exactly like you're saying, like Russell might be the only quarterback to have $100 million or have a large, let's say over $75 million, $80 million guaranteed contract here to possibly win the Super Bowl. Because
I don't think he's going to win it anytime soon.
Well,
I don't think he has the
this
defense.
year is the year that they have to do it, or they're going to be because they got to pay the receivers. Tyler Lockett is due for a contract. The offensive line is due for a contract. So, this is their window is closing very, very quickly because they got to sign guys. And they have, 35% of their salary cap tied up with a linebacker and a quarterback.
Bobby Wagner. So, no, I agree. So, some final points here that I'm going to make on my end. We talked about the playoffs. I'm going to run through my NFC list as of today, as of October 16th. My NFC playoff list is let's see. I think it's going to be the Packers. I think you got the Saints. I think the Saints will be a 1 seed. You got the Packers. You'll have the Cowboys. This is no really particular order. And then I believe you have the Seahawks end up winning that division with the Rams and 49ers making the wild card. We're going to bounce over to the AFC. I think New England's got that division on lock, bouncing around. I think Baltimore with Lamar Jackson, because that may not be the greatest situation, but they at least they know who they are. I don't think Pittsburgh and I don't think Cleveland has any clue of who they truly are. I got the Texans winning the South, and the Chiefs. No matter what struggles, the only person who could run to them last year was the Chargers, and they look just struggling
look out for the
right
Broncos,
now.
Though they're coming on strong.
I don't trust Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco had that one good year. Not trusting him again. So I think those are my division winners. So I got the Patriots. Let's see if it's confirmed. I got the Patriots. I got the Ravens. I got the Chiefs. I got the who am I missing? Who am I missing there? Chiefs. Oh, Texans. And your wild card. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say Bills and Colts are your wild card.
Bills and Colts, huh?
Super Bowl, Patriots, Packers.
Patriots and Packers, huh?
Battle of the 12s. Two legit quarterbacks who finally, or I don't say finally in the Patriots scheme, but two legit quarterbacks with two monster defense. That's my Super Bowl picks as of 10-6. We are 6 days away, bouncing to another sport. We are 6 days away from the NBA playoffs. There's a lot of madness going on in the NBA. We'll get into that sometime, Mike.
Not the NBA playoffs, the NBA regular season.
NBA regular season. You're right, Mike. There's a lot of chaos going on. A lot of just BS going on in the NBA right now that I just don't really have time or the energy to go into. I'm excited to see what the Warriors will do with the new Warriors as a Steph Curry carried team. Warriors. Where's Klay Thompson? I'll be honest with you, I'm not super sold on the Lakers. I just don't think that's kind of – I think that dynamic has kind of died down. The East looks open-ish. I haven't really got to review that, so I don't really have much on the NBA, so you can expect some NBA talk coming up. College basketball is coming, Mike. Well, I think we're less than a month away. Kentucky, Michigan State's going to be the one that starts it. If I'm not mistaken, we're looking at a number 1 versus number 2 again.
I'm excited about that game.
I'm very excited. We can always talk Kentucky basketball. Baseball's going on. I think the Nationals are in the World Series, which if you're Bryce Harper, are you kicking yourself right now? I mean, I guess it's hard to kick yourself when you got $300 million in the bank. But this team just said, you know what, you go over there and get your money. We're going to go on ahead and go to the World Series. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the Yankees are struggling down to the Astros. I'll be honest with you, I could care less about baseball. If you want to make baseball more interesting, you get rid of the pitcher. I don't want to watch two dudes play catch. You get rid of the pitcher. You put a pitching machine out there. You make the outfield about 70 yards bigger, and you just have like this weird home run derby looking thing. That's kind of my wraparound in sports for right now. Mike, got anything that you want to bounce off the wall or grind your gears or anything like that for the evening?
This is the first time in a long time that I think the NBA is really kind of wide open. Like, you do not have those 3 front runner teams. Like, you don't have, like, you cannot pencil the Golden State Warriors in a championship versus the whoever
right.
This is the first time that a legitimate 1 through 10 in the East, like out West, could actually make a run in the playoffs. Yes, I only know 8 teams make it to the playoffs, but that is a 10 to 11 team deep side of the bracket there, and the East is wide open as like ever.
I don't want to say that this is the first. I'm trying to think.
It's the first time in a long time.
I feel like and this is a long time. I feel like 99 was pretty open. I feel like there was a time when Kobe started sliding, sliding a little bit, hitting the old wall. Can't speak tonight, but you're right, Mike. And I don't know how I feel about it. My whole life, I grew up. It was Jordan every year. It was right. Shaq and Kobe. It was Kobe and the Lakers. You had the big 3 in Boston. You had the Heat. Then you had the Warriors. You had the Cavs. First year that I think you can't just say that, because you can say the Lakers.
You can.
But you can also say the Clippers.
They can also get knocked out of the first round.
You could also say, if you're a bit of a fan like I am and you're holding on to hope, you can also say, let's see what these Splash Brothers do when it's just them.
Yeah.
And as a Warriors fan, I'm just going to say this, and I'm really begging for this to just happen, Mike. Halfway through the season, so as a Kentucky fan, I'm trying to just preface this and try to set the stage. As a Kentucky fan, I love seeing all Kentucky players play well in the NBA.
Right.
But I want one particular player to just struggle a little bit, but for his own good and my own entertainment. Because I want to get to a point in January where the Golden State Warriors say, you know what? I don't know if you know where I'm going with this, Mike.
I have a feeling.
Where the Golden State Warriors say, you know what, D'Angelo Russell, you would play great in a different coast. They ship him down to Miami in return for Tyler Hero. Because I would love to see Steph Curry, Tyler Hero, Klay Thompson, the Splash triplets. And the way Tyler Hero's been playing, and I think this is going to be true for 2 or 3 years down the road, is going to be so everybody said that the thing that Kevin Durant brought was his ability to create his own shot. Steph and Klay like to play this pass and run and get open. Tyler Hero, that kid can create his own shot. Now, it's only been preseason, so I don't want to go. But if he can get in Golden State, and then you can get that third quarter where you're letting Steph and Klay, and you let Tyler Hero just go out there and create, I think that could be something special. So there's a lot of self-indulgence there. I'm definitely speaking purely as a fan, because I don't know if Miami's going to give him up. I don't know if Miami has any interest in D'Angelo Russell. I know they got Jimmy Butler.
Hey, I think you are on the right team there, but the Golden State Warriors just might be missing a big guy down in the post, i.e. Bam.
Now, if I want to get real greedy,
you get them both.
We go Draymond Green and D'Angelo Russell for Tyler Hero and Bam. Because,
I think Green just adds that little nasty to the Golden State Warriors.
That's true. But, I mean, maybe Miami starts thinking, hey, we want to win it. We got Jimmy, because they got Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's very volatile. Jimmy Butler might wake up one day and say, I need to win now. Start slamming chairs, whatever he does when he gets mad. They go get a D'Angelo Russell to play in the backcourt with him. You get a prove he's a winner. You can hate Draymond Green, but the man has his rings. He knows how to play in the playoffs. He does. Then Golden State gets young. I mean, Golden State's young now because they have Steph, veteran, Tyler Hero, rookie.
Veteran at 30 years old.
Klay Thompson, veteran. And then Bam, young guy. You can pretty much sign anybody you want. Like, they have Willie Cauley-Stein now, but I think Willie's going to chase some big money next year, and I don't know if they'll be able to afford him. But that's just me speaking as a fan. That's hoping. You sound like you're hyped about the NBA season. I've been just really busy lately. I don't have any stories. I'm going to start cooking up some stories, start living life a little, have a little experiences. We get spit on by a homeless man. Something will happen. We can talk about on the show, Mike, but we're getting ready to wrap it up. Anything you got to say before we close this out?
That is it, guys. I mean, definitely tune in tomorrow's night's Chiefs versus Broncos game, because if the Chiefs lose 3 in a row, look for heads to roll. Look for the Chiefs.
It won't be Patrick Mahomes.
I'm not saying that. Look for the Chiefs. Look for make a big move on the defensive side of the ball, i.e. Patrick Peterson for the Arizona Cardinals.
All right, guys, that's episode 2. Matthew Lyle Show, episode 3, coming at you whenever you see it. It's the show hardly prepared for, never promoted, at least not right now. We're out. Mike, thanks for joining. As always, we'll see you next time.
All right, man. That is that. Good job.